It's so weird once it goes quiet and everybody is muted. It's like I'm sitting here talking to myself, and thank goodness I can see your faces because that definitely helps. So we will get ready here for class. So we'll arrive onto our chairs. Oh, Carol pulled out the poncho. It is cold. We have our heat on again. It's how cold it is over here. But living in a mobile home, it's only comfortable without heat or air conditioning for like 10 minutes a year. So anyway, we will, I'm just thankful for a roof over my head mostly. So we will come to our mountain pose. So feet are flat on the floor. The knees are directly over the ankles. So that might mean you have to scooch the feet forward a wee bit. And then the head, shoulders are directly over the hips. So for me, that requires, I'm a little bit more towards the edge of my chair. My seat bones feel like they're pointed directly down. And I have to use a lot more of my core strength to stay upright. Because of course I'm a sloucher, which goes against everything that I stand for, both horseback riding and yoga. I'm here. If I can be like this, or better yet, this, I'm all for it. But so we have to make a conscious effort to sit up tall. You can close your eyes or take a soft gaze. And we're going to first check in. And I definitely don't do this enough in my day-to-day. Even with riding, sometimes I need to check in and be like, okay, wait, where is my head? What am I doing? What am I feeling? So taking a pause throughout your day to check in. You can't deal with what you can't kind of express or experience or acknowledge. So you're noticing, how your emotions feel, how your body feels. Sometimes it's easier to kind of notice the body stuff first, or maybe the emotion stuff manifests as body stuff. If you're anxious, you might feel some tightness in the chest, or an upset stomach, or different things like that. So we notice all of those things. Maybe you notice things you can't even pinpoint. You don't really know what that is. A general feeling, maybe. And then while we're here and our eyes are closed, I want you to bring your awareness to kind of the heart center. So the middle of your chest, maybe you can even place your hands on your chest to notice where the heart is. And I want you to visualize your heart in any which way you want to visualize it. Maybe it's a bright light, maybe it's a like emoji type heart, maybe it's the actual organ. We're thinking of just picturing kind of what moves us here in some degree or another. And we'll imagine this light or this shape growing larger and larger with every breath that we take. Maybe it becomes brighter. Just picture it. Every inhale feeds this space in our chest. Maybe the heart becomes so large it doesn't fit in our chest anymore. Maybe you're engulfed in this heart. And what your heart means to you. Maybe it means love, maybe it means health, Maybe it means, whatever, fill in the blank, and just send that out. You're sending it out beyond your chest, maybe beyond the room, as big as you can. We're just sending that out into the world. What does it feel like to be engulfed in love, in heart? And usually this is the time where I ask us to set an intention or say an affirmation, but I think this is the time that we send out love. I think we need to send love out either to a specific person or a group of people or just the whole world, all beings. Imagine them all engulfed in love, held by your heart. And keep that feeling with you throughout the day if you can. Now we'll start to add some movement to our practice. On the next exhale, we'll dip the chin towards the chest and round the back. So our spine comes towards the back of the chair. And on the inhale, we'll start to raise up tall, bringing these shoulder blades towards each other. The shoulders are back. The back is arched. And then exhaling and rounding. So we're going to do a few like that. Go as slow as you want or as fast as you want. We'll just take a couple more breaths here. You can always hold a position or just keep moving with the breath. Our next inhale brings us to a tall spine, back into our mountain pose. Head directly over the shoulders again. So we're going to take our head and we'll turn to face over one shoulder. You can hold here, and then you can take your fingers up by your ear and draw it down your neck towards your collarbone. Thinking a lot about love lately. And it kind of specifically for me right now, this moment in my life is kind of self-love or self-acceptance, I guess. And then doing a class like this or participating in a class or yoga or breathing or taking care of yourself is, self-care. I would say that would be a form of love. We'll turn our head to the other side and do the same thing. Draw your fingers down your neck. Good, and then we'll come back to neutral head here. We can take our right hand on our right shoulder, and we're going to circle the elbow and the shoulder to the back. So it is a clockwise motion for me. It's kind of moving, and you can make this circle bigger or smaller depending on what you want, or you can progressively get bigger. If you hit any spots that maybe are a little bit uncomfortable, you can take note of it, maybe back off a little bit. Good. And now we'll make one big circle, and we're going to point our right elbow towards the back of the room. So we're turning, twisting towards the right. You can take your left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Rest your right hand down on your chair. Taking a twist here. We're gonna hold for a couple breaths. Imagine lengthening through the spine on the inhale and exhaling and twisting. Your next inhale brings you back to the center. Pause a moment here. Notice the right shoulder, notice the left shoulder, any changes or differences between the two. We'll then place the left hand on the left shoulder and we'll circle to the back here again. So counterclockwise. Clockwise. I have this new accent now, apparently. Making the circle bigger if you want. And then we'll eventually make one big circle. And when we get to the back, our right hand will come to the outside of the left thigh. Left hand can come down towards the chair, taking a twist here on this side. Our next inhale brings us back to the center. Come back to your mountain pose. Notice how you feel. So take some wrist rolls. I start with my left hand. You can if you want. And everybody switches. It's so funny. Pretty much the only thing that matters is when you're doing a twist, it's recommended to twist to the right first because of the ascending and descending colons. Switching sides here. Sweeping both arms up. Imagine moving through oatmeal or molasses or something delicious like honey. Bring all your hands all the way to the top. And then using a little bit of resistance, we're going to draw the hands back together at the heart. Our heart meets our thumbs here, our sternum meets the thumbs, keeping the chest lifted and the belly in. So this supports our low back, so we're not arching too much, okay? And then soften, release, wrist roll here. Take a side bend. You can even hold the breath at the top. And then wrist roll back down. So you don't have to do it exactly the way I do it. You can do it for whatever works for you and your body. And if you can hold, great, your breath. If you can't, that's fine too. It's kind of nice to move really slow if you can, just to really feel things out. Inhale, both arms up. We're gonna push that ceiling away, getting really, really tall through the spine, and then exhale and fold, reaching out along the way. Inhale to a halfway lift or flat back. You can reach out in front or you can grab the shins, kind of scooping the sternum as you come up, and then exhaling, softening and folding. Inhale, sweep the arms out in front of you, come all the way up. Keeping yourself tall and chest lifted, we exhale, bring the hands to the heart. And now I don't know if you can hear me, and if it sounds creepy, I'm sorry, but I'm doing a little bit of Ujjayi breath in between the movements here or with the movements. So that's a slight constriction in the back of the throat. Kind of the sound that you would make if you were fogging up the mirror, but then closing your mouth along the way. So it's done with a constriction. It makes it easier to lengthen the breath. Inhale, both arms up. Push the ceiling away, get really, really tall and fold, and stay tall the whole way as you fold. Maybe you notice that you can reach a little farther down now. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale again and fold. Inhale, sweep both arms up, coming up again really tall. And on your exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So this is where it matters here, supposedly. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. And then we'll move back to our wrist rolls. So those twisting, going from the right to the left, is supposed to help with like digestion and moving things through the intestines and things like that. So I do notice that, you know, yoga and twisting obviously helps kind of get things fired up sometimes. We'll sweep both arms up. Push the ceiling away, super tall, and fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale again and fold. Inhale, both arms up. Belly draws in. On the exhale, we twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale and twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. And keeping the belly drawn in, we're exhaling, bringing the right knee up. So you can bring it up on its own, and then eventually we'll hug it in with our hands, grabbing the shin. And sometimes it's nice to kind of work yourself back to the edge of the chair to keep your chest lifted. I think through movement, we tend to slide around a little bit in the chair. So you can take some ankle rolls here. Switch direction of your ankle roll. We'll set that right leg down. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, draw the left knee in and up. Exhale, bring the hands to the shin. I think I just had us exhale twice. Whatever. As long as you're breathing. Take some ankle rolls. Switch directions. We'll inhale both arms up, so sitting up tall. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart. All right, our last time through. Wrist rolls. Over to my left, I have a dog kennel with my chickens. No, they're not chickens. Guineas and a turkey babies that I've hatched out in it. But the tote is clear. Inhale, both arms up. And they are just dancing around in there, something wicked, jumping up towards the ceiling and things like that. So funny. Push the ceiling away and exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale again and fold. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. Right knee up, give it a squeeze on the exhale. And we're going to inhale, extend that right leg. The foot is flexed, So take some engagement here. You probably feel it in your core and your hip flexor. And then we'll slowly lower that right heel down. Hands come to the left thigh. Now you can stay totally upright if you want, or you have the option to hinge forward. So if the right foot is flexed, when you hinge forward, you might feel some pulling in the back of the right leg. Just move to a point that feels good for you. Feels like maybe a little stretch, but not pain, no ripping, nothing like that. We'll draw that right heel back. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring the left knee in. Give it a squeeze. Inhale, extend the left leg. Left foot is flexed, sitting up tall. Some work here, isn't it? And then we'll lower the left heel. Hands come to the right thigh. And then you have the option to hinge forward if that works for you. So keeping the chest and the spine, the chest lifted, the spine long, you're hinging from the hips. So you're in two pieces. So there's the upper body and then the lower body. And so we're not rounding the spine, we're staying lifted. So that part's still straight. We'll inhale, bring that left heel back, sweep the arms up, get really tall. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. We'll take a moment here. Just notice any movements, changes. All right, we'll bring the right leg out to the right. The left leg, so I'm making a right angle here. And my chest is still facing the front of the chair, but my leg is moved to the side. The left leg can be bent or straighten it. So it's kind of kicked out in front here. The foot can be flat on the floor, which is kind of a stretch to the front of the ankle, or you can have your foot flexed, which creates some engagement in the leg. So play around with it. This leg is kind of our I lost my thought. It's just hanging out, I guess, for right now. We're going to turn our upper body to face the right leg. So you might feel a little bit of a stretch on the inside of the left thigh, depending on the placement of your leg. With my leg flexed, I definitely feel it more in the inner thigh. So your hands can be on your leg, or you can start to bring your arms up into the air. And we're going to draw the belly button in towards the spine. So just a couple breaths here. So there's some strength that we need to have, cultivate, etc. here in our core. You think about the core being such an important piece, it's where we kind of originate from. The fundamental part. So we're going to inhale and open up. So our chest is now facing the device or the front of your chair again. And we'll take our right palm and we'll flip it up towards the ceiling on the inhale. So now you might feel a little bit not supported here. You can scooch to the left so that your whole right thigh is on the chair. So that's an option that helps you feel a little bit more supported. Now this way here, your left hand really has nothing to hang out on. So maybe you want to put it on your thigh. Or your hip, sorry. And we're lengthening the area between the right hip crease and the fingertips. We're getting up nice and tall. Now, if you feel unstable, you find a place somewhere on your chair that makes you feel stable and strong. If it's comfortable for your head and neck, you can look up towards your right hand. A big inhale here, lengthening through that right side. Exhale brings us back to our starting position here with the arms out to a T. We're going to circle the arms a little bit towards the back. Now, if you were like me, you probably just crunched everything up towards your ears. So we're working on settling the shoulders down, getting them towards the back. You can even squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other a little bit. That kind of relieves the tension in the upper neck. So on the next inhale, and then exhale, we'll bring our right forearm to our right thigh. The left arm can come right up and over. So I actually have my palm or the left pinky facing the floor. So this creates a long line from my left foot all the way up over my head to my left hand. If it's comfortable on your neck, you can turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. If it's not comfortable, wherever works for you. And the inhale brings us back to center. And then we'll exhale, lower the hands. We'll bend the left knee, coming into a goddess pose leg situation here. The place where you can fix your tights if they're giving you problems. Keeping the spine tall again. We'll bring our hands to our heart and we're going to hinge forward. So we're pressing into our feet, we're balanced, and we're going to press forward until we can maybe touch the elbows to the thighs. And then using your core, we're going to lift right back up with a straight spine. So we're not rounding, we're staying tall. Come back up. Let's do 2 more. Exhaling as we fold. Inhaling, coming back up. So think of keeping your chest lifted, your shoulder blades back. We're going to do this one more time. Exhaling as you fold forward. Inhaling as you come up. We'll float the arms up to goddess arms. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, we'll bring the right elbow towards the right knee. You can extend the left arm up and over. Come back to center. Left elbow, left knee. Arm comes up and over. So we're going to do it 2 more times on each side. Come back up. Exhale, over. Inhale, center. Exhale, full or bend. 1 more time on each side, and then we'll move back to our left side. Left elbow, left side. And then back to our goddess pose. We'll bring the arms back down. The left leg is going to come back towards the left. It's going to come even wider if you can. The right leg might go straight. Maybe it stays bent for stability, totally up to you. You can move your hips towards the right side of your chair so that your left leg is supported. 100% up to you and what makes you feel better. For me, it's kind of somewhere in between. I like both of my seat bones still on the chair, especially this chair. If I move too far back, my foot comes off the ground. So we're going to turn towards the left thigh. So our chest is facing in the same direction as our left thigh. You can have your hands here, belly draws in, or lift your hands up towards the ceiling. Now, you might notice that your left thigh wants to kind of slingshot back in. We're going to keep pushing it to the outside. We'll keep pushing it to the left. Couple breaths here. Our next inhale brings us back the chest towards the front of the room, front of the chair. Our next inhale, we'll flip the left palm up towards the ceiling. The left hand comes up. The right hand comes maybe towards your hip. And we're getting really a lot of space between the left hip crease and the left fingertips. Getting really tall through this area. So it's kind of like a little bit of a back bend, but it's kind of almost like a twisty back bend. So instead of being all like in the lumbar spine, it seems to be kind of through the rib cage too here. So more of a side bend than a back bend. Inhale brings us back to our starting position. Take another breath here. Inhale, tall. Exhale, left forearm to left thigh, right arm comes up and over. Taking a long line again from the right foot all the way up to the right fingertips. And then see if you can still keep your head and neck in line with your spine. So it's not dangling down here on our shoulder. We're still keeping it up. Not that I saw anybody doing that, but just something to think about. There's a lot of poses where, especially if you get tired, you kind of want to just rest your head down, and we want to keep it in line with the spine. Our next inhale brings us all the way back up, and then exhale brings the arms back down. Move ourselves back into the proper pose here, the mountain pose. And I want you to either rest your hands on your lap, or so your palms down or palms up. And we're just going to take a moment of thinking about what the mountain pose means. So what maybe a mountain is, and how pretty unmovable it is, although it can change. So it's strong, stable. And then we'll get ready to rock to stand here. You can open your eyes or whatever. We're going to reach out in front, and we're going to kind of lean forward, start to pick the hips up, and then lower back down. So I've noticed for me, I need my heels back a little bit more than I am in my mountain pose to rock to stand effectively. And then we'll come all the way up. Good. And march it out. Using your chair close by if you need it. I'm just going to put mine here. We're going to kind of look at our mountain pose while we're standing. So this can still be done while we're seated, although we pay a little less attention to our feet when we're seated. Now, your feet are side by side. They can definitely be 2 fists distance apart. So if you set your hands fists side by side, this is your hip width. So you might want to adjust them. So whatever's comfortable for you. The closer your feet are together, kind of the more tricky balance can be. Now, we are imagining that we're pulling our legs apart. Ooh, my whole hips and spine just went. Apparently that does something. So we're imagining that we're pulling our feet apart. So it's an isometric movement. We're not actually moving our feet, but we're pulling them apart. We're imagining or trying to create this engagement in the thighs, which will, for some people, have a lifting of the kneecap effect. So it's not quite the same as locking them out. You're engaging the quads here, pulling the mat apart or the floor apart, lifting the legs, and imagine a belt buckle, the big fancy one. So we're lifting that belt buckle. So some people will talk about like tucking the tailbone, and that can kind of create this like strange little over tuck. So if you just think about lifting your belt buckle, that will also kind of take some of the arch out of your low back. So we're supporting the low back, the legs are engaged, and our belt buckle is lifted. Our chest and head are directly over our hips. So if you're tend to want a leaner, if you're like me, you want to kind of lean forward all the time, we're bringing it back. Okay. This is a lot of work. And then you can bring your hands to your heart. Now this is the more traditional mountain pose. And this is the foundation for so many other poses. So you want to think about having those strong legs in your standing pose. So we're going to move into our tree pose with keeping the leg engagement thing. Granted, you won't be able to pull your legs apart or have that kind of sensation, but think about the belt buckle lifting and the engaged leg. So we're going to shift our weight over to the right side, and we're not kind of shifting the hip out. We're still keeping that mountain pose, that engaged right leg. The left knee can come out to the left. So left knee and left toes are pointed out. Or you can bring it in, or you can bring it up. Use the chair for balance. We're just not pressing our left foot into our right knee because we don't want to take away stability in that right knee. So you can even be above the knee if that works for you. Constantly carving this left knee out and pushing down with your right leg. You can find a mudra or hand placement, whatever works for you. Want to add a little risk to your life? You can close your eyes. I just think about closing my eyes and lose my balance. So, and then just, if you do start to lose your balance, picture your right foot becoming, one with the floor, one with the ground that you're standing on. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, lengthens through the spine. You're pressing into the floor even more. And then exhale, lowers you back down, releasing the pose. You can march it out. Come back to your mountain pose. Notice if you feel any changes. So your right leg just did a weightlifting exercise. Your left leg and your left hip kind of rotated open. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So left foot faces down. Yeah, okay. So we're using our mountain pose. We're pulling the floor apart, pressing down into this left leg now, and we'll lift the right. So you bring it out, or you bring it in, or you bring it up. And we take our variation on this side of mudra or hand placement. We're constantly pressing into that left foot now. Taking just a couple breaths here. Inhale makes us grow up even taller. Exhale, we lower that right foot down. And then march it out. Check in. See if you notice any changes or differences. And then we're going to do a little bit more with balance here. So we're going to shift our weight again to our right foot. I have my chair on my left side. You may want to have it on your left side. We're going to pick the left knee up, and then we're going to push it back. So we're hinging at the hips, and the left foot goes straight back. And then come forward, bring the left knee up, and then bring it directly straight back. So if your foot is this is you bringing it back, that's great, perfect. If your foot is on the floor for stability, perfect as well. You can do any variation of that. Bring the knee up and then bring it back. So you might feel a stretch when you come forward here on the back of the right leg. Now, if you want to, briefly, you can bring your left thumb to your chest. If you're feeling balanced, you can try to release the chair. You can maybe bring both hands to the chest, but we want to have the chair close by. And then come all the way back to stand. Good. So again, another big weightlifting exercise here for the right leg, and a stretch also in the back of the leg. And it requires a lot of focus. Okay. I move the chair to my right side. My weight is shifting a little bit to the left leg. My right knee will lift, and then I can bring it back. Maybe just tap back. Lift forward. Start to bring it back. Bring it forward and back. Forward and back. And if you want to, try to bring the left hand, the left thumb to the heart. If you want to, maybe release the chair slightly. Maybe eventually you bring both hands to the heart. And then moving slowly, come back to stand. Cool. And another, I mean, you can always do this with your hands, with your facing the chair and doing it this way, depending on the chair. You could probably do it on the couch, placing your hands even this way. Kind of bring your hands to the chair. That might be easier for most people. And then you can kind of play around with the balance part. But anyway, can bring the chair behind us again. We'll walk around in front of the chair. And everybody's favorite time, our squat variation. So you can have your feet together, hip width or a little bit bigger, totally up to you. You can have them way big. Anywhere you are, your knees and your toes are always pointed in the same direction. So our knees aren't in with our feet out or you know, some kind of strangeness. I've seen some funny things, and I'm sure that's not deliberate. So you just kind of be mindful of your knees, your joints, want to keep them as safe and healthy for as long as possible. So let me find my place here. So you can go up and down. If you go up and down, you can squeeze your glutes when you get to the top, or you can hold. It's totally up to you. You can have any kind of hand variation that you want. So I'm actually doing a giving goddess right now. So my pinkies are touching and my hands are basically offering here. So totally up to you. You can close your eyes or take a soft gaze. I want you to either send out some love again or think of something that you're grateful for. And then we'll slowly lower down into the chair. Good. We're going to do a little self-massage here, kind of on the bandwagon of self-love. We're going to start with, I'm going to start with my thigh, because if we did a lot with the thighs today. So we're going to give ourselves a little bit of massage here on the thighs. So we'll start out with, I just take a little fist here and I tap. Try to keep your back still kind of straight if you can, because I just caught myself hunching over. keeping your back straight. You can lift the leg and get into your, ooh, almost fell over, the backs of your legs, your hip. You know, if you have people over, do this. This will freak them out. Okay, and then we'll do the other leg, the other thigh. You can definitely go down to your calves and ankles. You can do this everywhere, but just for kind of time, we won't. Okay, so we will now kind of massage the leg. So you can kind of take the heel of your hand, you know, you can take your hand into a fist and you're pushing down and away. You can pull them back up if you want. I feel it works better if you're pushing away. There's different massage ideas where, you know, you kind of bring everything back towards your heart, and then there's other ones of kind of moving, but you know, do what feels good. I think that you can't go wrong with that. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Do down into your calves. If you have a rolling pin, that works amazing for this. It's a little bit friendlier on your hands. Then we'll do the other leg. You probably found some tight spot that you didn't even know you had, huh? I didn't know my calves were tight today. So, and then this, we won't necessarily do this one, but if you do notice a tight spot, you know, kind of a lump or whatever, you can actually hold that spot, kind of press down, put some pressure. You can move your fingers a little bit. You can move them like in a circular position. You can just hold. If you have any lumps or areas that where it's really tight. So like my left thigh, I have probably a big knot in it. So you can hold in that spot and wiggle around. Okay, so you can find those spots, hold for a while. It should soften. You can kind of move back to this this kind of rubbing. Now we're going to do little pinches. So you're going to kind of like knead your skin a little bit, your muscles here. Probably not feeling quite as magical as when you go and get a massage, but you know, we do what we can. It's cheaper. I mean, it might sound weird, but there's like, I don't think we touch ourselves enough. We don't, you know, it's, I've only dealt with things like this when I was running and stuff like that. I did foam rolling and things like that, but that's not, it was kind of like to fix something. It wasn't just to take, you know, just random care of myself. So last thing is little taps with the fingers. You can kind of get in everywhere. This stuff also feels awesome on the feet, so you can take the time later on and do the feet after class. Do anything you can reach, basically. On the joints themselves, so we kind of try to take it easier on the joints. You do smaller movements. If you're going to rub, you rub in like smaller circles. Okay, and we'll come back to our mountain pose. We'll sit up tall, and I invite you to kind of notice how your legs feel. My legs feel a little tingly, a little bit more awake and alive, and I feel like I've taken care of them a little bit. So maybe you can investigate what that feels like to you. Okay, we'll now move on to the hands. So we're gonna take our thumbs and we're going to kind of massage around into the palm. You can try to use your fingers, I guess, if that works. I do little circles, and then I wiggle the joints, wiggle my fingers side to side as I go down each finger. Kind of circle my fingers around. Pull up closer. So it's kind of and then we'll do the other hand. So you probably feel a difference between the two hands right now. I don't know. It's like I spend a lot of time washing my hands lately and stuff like that, but not actually taking care of them. It's kind of like just do it, get it done, move on. Those birds in my living room are going outside today. To the kind of the middle school version of a chicken home. They're going to a box inside my coop. They can see the other birds, but not get to each other. Okay, shake them out, and then we'll do our tapping. Then the heels of the hands. I hatched out some guineas for my grandpa because he wanted guineas, and now that I hatched them, he's like, I think I want chickens. I'm like, oh, because these guineas take off on him and go up the street to their girlfriend's place, which is this random guinea fowl, guinea hen up there that lives by herself, and so they go up. The four boys go up and visit her. Bottoms of the thumbs. And I have no idea the four I have in here are girls or boys yet, so who knows. Anybody want some guineas? Give me a call. Okay, flat palm, punching right into it. Switch. I don't know why I was hunched over here again. What's kind of nice about the camera and being able to see myself a little bit is I can pick up on like wonky kind of movements I'm doing here. Backs of the hands. Some posture stuff a little bit. Get some instant feedback. I don't have to wait till something hurts to go, oh yeah, I'm hunched over again. Last spring, I was riding a client's horse, and I was like, why is my lower back killing me? Well, I was sitting on the horse like this, like booty out big time, and that, you're not supposed to ride like that. And then, so I was watching videos, and I'm like, oh, that's why. Backs of the hands. So I try to record my rides if I can, but it's hard when you're there by yourself trying to record. So we all have some like crazy kind of pattern of movement that we've been doing that isn't exactly always working for us. Interlace the fingers. And then we'll hold and switch. And then the web between the thumb and forefinger. No dogs today, guys. I messaged my uncle and I'm like, I am bringing them down whether you like it or not. You put them in a stall, I don't care, but they need to be outside. They need to do stuff. Because I do foolish things like knock on furniture during class and set them into a barking frenzy. Switch. I've been telling pretty much everybody I see since then, I'm like, oh my God, listen to this. During class, everything was quiet, and then I bark on the furniture. I knock on the furniture, and everybody starts barking. Okay, so our hands, our prana-filled hands, we're gonna take those, and we're gonna set them on body parts that are challenging to us today. And honestly, after the self-massage, I'm feeling pretty good. So let's see. You can close your eyes. So again, like when we did with our heart earlier, and we sent it out, this kind of energy is more directed. So we're bringing our awareness, for me, it's to my knee. You're really focusing on that knee or that body part. And then we can slowly remove our hands. We can move back into our chair. Try to find kind of the most comfortable position you can in your chair. Having your shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades down. Belly is still a little bit engaged here to kind of support the core, support the spine. And we'll bring the idea of sending love out into the world, sending our heart out into the world again. So whether you visualize it as, this blinding red, pink, rays of light shining out of your chest, or however you want to picture it, you want to imagine the whole world being engulfed in your love, in your heart. Whether you know the circumstances of what other people are dealing with or not, having compassion and love and sharing it. Maybe it's like a drop of like a raindrop in a still water, that those rings, those ripples, they spread out. Imagine the love, the ripples here spreading out beyond yourself. And now turning the love to ourselves, giving ourselves the love. And it's not like we're taking it away from other people or other things. We're just sharing it. I think the more we share it, the more we have to offer. And we can thank ourselves for practicing together this morning. And I can't stress enough how important I think it is to feel loved, grateful, and connected. These are the things that kind of bind us, that support us, ground us, and keep us kind of moving forward together. And I hope we all have the courage and strength to overcome any obstacles before us, because there will be many. Using the connection and love and gratitude that we have to help us move forward. From my heart to your heart, peace and namaste. Thank you so much for coming.